business. And that's I like that you take us okay. You take us the order of the day. So crack.
Order number 1, administration of vote. Order number 2, communication from the chair. Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers. Mr. Speaker, sir, we have a paper to be laid by Honorable Zachary Mwangijero, the chairperson of the Joint Committee on Finance, Economic Planning and ICT Committee, and Budget and Appropriations Committee.
Very well. Honorable Zachary Mwangijero, chairperson, Finance, Economic and Planning and ICT Committee.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I like to seek leave so that the said paper can be tabled on Tuesday, bearing in mind the kind of the consultations we have been having. But that notwithstanding, I have a progress report on the Joint Committee of the Finance and Economic Planning and ICT, together with the Budget and Appropriations Committee. And I think it is prudent during the next order, maybe to give highlights on what the report, the progressive report entails, as we beg to seek leave.
Very well, Chair, Finance. You've made a request that the paper will be tabled on Tuesday.
Yes. I'm seeking leave to the next sitting.
That is
Tuesday.
28th, eh?
Yes. In the morning session.
At 9:30.
Yes.
Very well. Maybe you resume your seat. That's a critical document. This is a very critical document that defines the 5 years of this county. You've indicated that you have a progressive report.
Yes, Honorable Speaker.
Maybe you proceed, you highlight, you make some highlights as I grant the leave.
Very well. Honorable Speaker, this is in the consideration of the validation and approval of the CIDP 3. And Honorable Speaker, as you are aware, that CIDP is one of the key planning documents and usually a task of any newly elected government. And it is since the advent of the consideration of these documents. And Honorable Speaker, it is always prudent to mention the committee members. And the joint committee comprises of 20 members. One is myself, Honorable Zachary Jeru, the Chairperson Finance. We have the Chairperson Budget and Appropriations Committee, Honorable Isaac Wajiru. I have my Vice Chairperson, Honorable Benson Kiari Joki. We have the Vice Chairperson Budget, that is Honorable Ruben Gitau Karaja. We have Honorable Peter Mwagi Maina, Member Finance. Honorable Patrick Mohede Kariuki, Member Finance Committee. Honorable Edna Duabogo Kingori, Member Finance Committee. Honorable Catherine Nyawira Matenge, Member Finance Committee. Honorable Juliana Mugure Babu, Member Finance Committee. Honorable Joseph Tuukuria, Member Finance Committee. Honorable Elija Mwagi Nyaga, Majority Leader and Member Finance Committee. Honorable James Keiru Gashoba, Member Budget. Honorable Simon Bogo Buru, Member Budget. Honorable Miru Kawajiru Drago, Member Budget. Honorable Miru Kanyabura, Member Budget. Honorable Daniel Dongo Getau, Member Budget. Honorable Patience Nyabura Manga, Honorable Tugo Gashino, Honorable Isaac Kamau Bae, and Honorable Paul Keruka Buru, who are equally members of the Budget Committee. Honorable Speaker, without anticipating debate, I think after a wide consultation with the county executive, and that is provided in pursuant to section 39, subsection 2 of the County Government Act 2012, and the provision of our standing orders, that is standing order 198. The Committee on General Oversight invited the executive committee member and the chief officers to Mat Farm, that is in Nakuru County, from 15th day of March to 17th day of March 2023, to expound on their respective department priorities, programs and plans for the next 5 years. The areas of consultation in regard to CIDP were majorly on: 1, the review of CIDP 2, that is the planning document that ran between 2018 to 2022, measuring on extent of implementation and the areas to improve. Number 2, the departmental plans as captured in the CIDP 3, that is now the proposed plan for 2023 to 2027, and how the said plans link with the medium-term plan, Vision 2030, Governance Manifesto, Kenya Kwanza Plan, and Sustainable Development Goals. Honorable Speaker, equally, the issue to do with the departmental priority programs and how the same will impact on the citizenry of Nyandarua. And the last 3, Honorable Speaker, the implementation plan, including the timelines for respective department in respect to CIP3 programs. Honorable Speaker, I don't want to get into nitty-gritties of the legal background, since the same will be contained in the substantive report. But I wish only to highlight on committee findings and observations. Honorable Speaker, the Joint Committee has been considering and discussing the CIDP3 programs, sub-programs, key output and key performance indicators as captured in the document as submitted. In addition, the major concern is the allocations and priority areas in the CIDP. The Joint Committee, having considered the document, has found some issues that need further or additional information before tabling of the final and comprehensive report to this House for approval in the next sitting. And some of these key issues or fundamental issues include: 1, the CIDP3 programs has not been delineated. Has not delineated program and sub-program as per the source of funding or extent of funding in case of shared funding between the county government and national government, or county government and public-private partnership or development partners. And Honorable Speaker, as a result of this, it is difficult to ascertain whether the projected allocation has adequately catered for critical programs and projects, be it now the word irreducible minimum. Honorable Speaker, it is equally difficult to ascertain whether or not the funding of critical programs and projects is from the revenue source that the county government has a reasonably higher degree of achieving, or equitable share that is owned as of the revenue and loans and grants from the national government and its development partners. Honorable Speaker, equally some critical flagship projects have not been costed, and if this were costed, the total projected allocation would be more than the projected 70 billion. And Honorable Speaker, it is good to note that we have been having some of the flagship projects that were started by the first regime, others by the second regime, and we want to know where are they being considered in the CIDP 3. Honorable Speaker, equally there was noted a clear disconnect between key performance indicators and targets, and thus the proposed allocations lack clear basis. Honorable Speaker, the CIDP 3 as submitted is highly fragmented, and thus in some cases it does not address county government development plans as programs or sub-programs as expected. As a result of this fragmentation, mere activities within some sub-programs have been outlined as sub-programs, and some sub-programs have been outlined as programs. And Honorable Speaker, despite the CIDP 3 adhering to the stipulated template, there are no presentation and editorial issues that affect its overall quality, and thus the issues raised in the public participation needs to be captured in the CIDP 3, which should be included in this planning document. What are the implications, Honorable Speaker, of the above identified, some of these identified issues? One, it is lack of clarity of programs and sub-programs as regarding their description. Two, we have duplication and fragmentation of projects and programs, and this is likely to tie more funds that would not be necessary, therefore denying resources for funding other priority programs. Three, failure to designate specific revenues for specific programs will render implementation of the CIDP 3 difficult, as high priority programs may not benefit from the most certain revenues. Four, failure to rationalize revenues likely to be mobilized from whichever source is likely to be detrimental to implementation of the CIDP 3 when actual revenue falls short of planned revenue in significant proportions. In fact, Honorable Speaker, among lessons learned from the CIDP 3, implementation of the CIDP 3 is that the county has limited control on revenue to be mobilized from the national government and the public-private partnership. Last but not least, Honorable Speaker, failure to cost some of these flagship projects is an indication that the county lacks an elaborate plan to implement the said program. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, approval of the CIDP 3 without addressing the broad concerns enumerated above may damage the reputation of the Assembly, as it may be castigated by Nyandarua citizenry and general for failure to exercise its oversight powers in county planning processes. Mr. Speaker, arising from the above issues and many others, the Joint Committee have found it prudent to invite the CCM, Finance, Economic Planning and ICT to shed more light on the issues, and in furtherance of this, expound on how the county will mobilize resources to enable proper implementation of the CIDP 3. In this regard, the committee requests for more time to table a comprehensive report to this House for consideration in the next sitting. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And I think if you find it prudent, maybe for honorable members who might be having a very burning issue pertaining the CIDP, though I have done it in a comprehensive manner, since it is a progressive report, I think it will be important for the committee as we consider. We are meeting the county executive tomorrow. The committee on, the Department for Finance, Economic Planning, and the entire directorate, so that we can be able now to polish out all these issues. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Very well. I have consulted my notes and studying order, and actually, you don't need to table as we await for the substantive report. Thus, now the House is duly informed on the progress on consideration of the County Integrated Development Plan 3 that will run between 2023 to year overall 2027. And Chairperson, I thus direct that you table a report on Tuesday, the 28th day of March 2023 at 9 a.m. At 9:30, sorry, at 9:30 a.m. And that matter, as it comes to rest, the House is also informed that for information, the committee is ready to, it is welcoming any information. And next. Speaker. What is it, a member for North Kinangop?
I'm just requesting you that you allow the members of this honorable house to ventilate much on the very same preliminary that has been raised by our able chair, Finance and Economic Planning.
Maybe I need to rule on that. Actually, you are aware that my office facilitated the same, and the members are doing it, and because I don't want that we preempt, and we have the substantive report, we can just wait, and I know if we really need to penetrate, we will be able in another forum. Next.
Mr. Speaker, sir, under the same order, we have a paper to be laid by Honorable Daniel Getaundongo, the Chairperson, Committee on Delegated County Legislation.
Honorable Daniel Getaundongo, the Chairperson, Committee on Delegated County Legislation.
Speaker, sir. County Bursary Part Committee Election Celebration 2023. The gadget, the whole report. Mr. Speaker, delegated committee in mandate to check whether regulation comply with the section 193 of the standing order, and if it is resolved that the regulation to be acceded to, the clerk convey the resolution of the relevant authority. Sorry. Mr. Speaker, I want to table the report of delegated committee.
Proceed. The report is duly tabled.
Chairperson, statements of Nyandarua County Bursary Fund Committee Election Regulation 2023. Mr. Speaker, delegated committee mandate check whether regulation comply with section 193 of the standing order, and if the result to that the regulation be acceded to.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
What is it, Honorable Catherine Yawira?
Honorable Speaker, I'm just standing on a point of order on procedure of tabling a document and presenting it just immediately. I'm just wondering whether we haven't broken any procedure in this House. and hence misadvising the chairman of the delegated committee.
Very well. We are in a running mood, and I'm happy the season is over. And maybe the reason as to why I have allowed him to do it is that I have that particular report, and since this is an approval, he is not giving us much. We are dispensing with that business because on matter regulation house, you either approve or you reject. And now I don't want to preempt. They have actually approved, and he is only making that note, and that is for information for this house. Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I continue.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, point of order.
Maybe member for Kaibaga, member for Karawi, let's see your seat. What is it, member for North Kinangop?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm raising on a point of order number 191. I would wish to invite you there so that we can be able to move together. 191. The mandate of the Delegated County Registration Committee. And specifically, Mr. Speaker, on 191.4.
Maybe member for North Kinangop. Which version of the standing order is that?
Probably now, if we have the new edition, could be my standing order for 2019. Very important, 193. I think this is 193.
Yeah, proceed.
More or less the same on subsection 4. Mr. Speaker, it states, if the committee resolves that the statutory instrument be acceded to, the clerk shall convey that resolution to the relevant county department or the authority that publish the statutory instrument. Mr. Speaker, from the conclusion of these committee's resolution on this report, you find that, Mr. Speaker, they concluded that after scrutinizing the regulation and holding consultative forum with the Department of Education, the committee resolved that regulations meet the required threshold. So, Mr. Speaker, there's nowhere it's been provided for that the committee, if they agree as per what was brought to this honorable house, Mr. Speaker, they should go directly to the office of the clerk and then the office of the clerk to communicate. And I want to invite you, subsection B. If the committee does not accede to the statutory instrument, the committee may recommend to the county assembly that the county assembly resolve that all or any part of the statutory instrument be annulled, and if the instrument, if a resolution is passed by the county assembly, chairperson, first chairperson of the committee panel, assembly, within 20 days on which its next sitting after instrument laid before. Mr. Speaker, I don't see any need for this committee to bring this regulation to this honorable house because they agreed unanimously that everything is okay as per the conclusion. But if they invite this honorable house, Mr. Speaker, maybe now it is to the standing order number 193 for subsection B. I need you to rule out of that, Mr. Speaker, owing to the fact that this is the guideline, or rather, the rules of this honorable house.
Maybe, Mr. Speaker.
Maybe majority, before even you react, member for North Kinangop. You see, since the regulations were referred to the committee in the House, at timelines we are given, the report is for information to the House on the same. And if we have allowed the chairperson delegated, he was almost finishing that. And I was to make that, I was to direct that the clerk do communicate the same to the said CCM. Thus, I invoke my powers. Starting order number 1, that member for the chairperson delegated, you just now finish.
Mr. Speaker, it's a matter of informing the House.
Yeah.
Obrecht.
Yeah, thank you. Proceed, chairperson delegated.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The regulation was referred to the committee on 15 February 2023. After scrutinizing the regulation of the holding consultative forum with the Department of the Education, the committee resolved that the regulation meeting the required threshold. The committee therefore recommended that the clerk convey this resolution to the CCM of Education, Children, Gender, Fair and Culture and Social Services. Mr. Speaker, the committee membership are Honorable Daniel Gitao Dongo, Chairperson, Honorable Peter Maina Gadogo.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
What is it, Honorable Kariuki Mohindi?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You have just stated what the chair is supposed to do, and is now reading a notice of motion or something else. Kindly guide him.
Thank you. I was also even concerned. So I thought member for Olkarawan, the chairperson delegated, when now you want to go deep into the report, maybe that is overtaken by event, having read your last statement. So I think you only need to say that it has been scrutinized and that is over so that we can proceed. You don't need to bring to our attention the membership and everything, because we've communicated the position of the committee. So finish honorably.
Mr. Speaker.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Proceed, member
In
for...
conclusion, Mr. Speaker, the committee found the regulation to be the compliant with the requesting legal and regulation framework. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Very well. Who is that raising point of order?
Mr. Speaker, I wanted to do some correction because from the report, I'm a member of the committee, Mr. Peter Maina Gadongo. So, Mr. Speaker, I wanted the correction for the Hansard. We have Honorable Peter Maina Mwangi, who is the deputy, the chairperson.
You are out of order, member for the Shabon. Maybe you assume your seat. Okay, members, the report is duly tabled and we are well informed about it. I do hereby direct that the office of the clerk does forward the committee recommendation to the relevant CCM. Next.
Order number 6, notices of motion. Based on your earlier directions, Mr. Speaker, we proceed to order number 7, statements. Order number 8, motions and bills. Mr. Speaker, sir, still based on your earlier directions, we've exhausted the business to be undertaken in the afternoon's order paper.
There being no other business to transact under this sitting, I now adjourn the House until Tuesday, the 28th day of March, 2023.